I'm Shaun Jamison. I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Purdue Global Law School. So what can lawyers do to avoid the stigma of being that ChatGPT lawyer? Most importantly, understand that ChatGPT or other generative AI services can hallucinate. It can make up cases, statutes, and other information. So it's very important to check your facts, check your law. And you can do it manually, or you can use a commercial service to do it. So there's really no reason not to check that data, and that can help you not become that ChatGPT lawyer. You can be a ChatGPT enabled lawyer, and that's great, and that's a good thing. Just be careful and do your due diligence. Certainly, universities across the world, as soon as ChatGPT came out, started seeing a lot of essays that weren't written by students. And one can argue, well, it's an AI world, they have to learn to use AI, but delegating your learning to AI isn't a smart move, because at some point you're sitting in front of a client, you need to be able to do the work of an attorney. So that's kind of the downside of it. But the upside is that you can train law students to use AI effectively and ethically. And so we're working on that. We have a class, AI in the Law, where we really dig in and teach students how to use it effectively, what the pluses and minuses are, and what the legal implications are. So some of the dangers are, like I mentioned before, you can have a situation where the AI actually, what we call, hallucinates information. It so wants to please you, if it had feelings. It wants to please you, so it comes up with cases and statutes that simply don't exist. And they look plausible. They use the right format. It's just it might be one case name and a different citation, and the case does not exist anywhere. And lawyers have actually used these citations without checking them and gotten in a great deal of trouble. You know, you can get sanctions, you can be fined. There are consequences for that. So that's one way lawyers need to be careful about the dangers of it. They need to think about the ethics of it too, particularly data security. So when you think about, for a situation where you have a question about a client, need to strip out the client information, need to strip out any identifying information about that client, because if it's going into a place that you can't control where that data is, the concern is that it might be used for training the AI and may be stored somewhere and later breached. And so we have to be very concerned about our duty of confidentiality to the clients. We also have to have our duty of competence. In other words, do I know how to use AI? My duty of candor to the court. Am I being, truthful about what the law is? Well, I'm not being particularly truthful if I'm citing a case that doesn't exist and saying the judge should rely on that. So those are some of the concerns for lawyers.